okay, if you're listening, what's popping? We've never done any type of thing like this ever before, so this shit is weird. Who are we talking to?
Who is this? What's popping?
Nobody. Shit just got hella weird.
All right, Analytic Dreamz video on Spotify to see the video along with the audio, because we are now getting into my favorite artist in the world, Jermaine Cole. All right, y'all know that's a lie. But anyways, we're getting into J. Cole, and basically, he released a podcast, talk about irony, right? Titled Inevitable. So, inevitably, J. Cole will not get out of hip-hop timeout. But I will admit that this is a great move as far as a PR perspective, just letting people know the countless times you've given hip-hop something that's been high quality, right? Because currently, just me being, analytical, just looking at the data, that's all it is. Nothing, slanderous about this statement. But J. Cole currently doesn't have any tracks on the top 100, but he does have the 15th most played album currently with 2014's Forest Hills Drive, right? So when you come into this podcast titled Inevitable, basically featuring unreleased music and conversations about his life and career, then you realize that this is a great PR move, especially after one of the more outright detrimental things that he did as far as his career as a rapper. Like, as far as a human, everybody loves to talk about philanthropic things that J. Cole has done. We're talking about as a rapper, this man did one of the worst things you could ever do in hip hop, which is release a diss track, take the diss track down, and basically say that the person you was dissing, you was a clown for that because he's so great, right? So ultimately, he's in hip hop timeout for the foreseeable future. Now, as far as this podcast, I do believe that Ibrahim, which is his manager, and Scott Laser, which is the filmmaker and longtime collaborator of J. Cole, releasing this podcast is phenomenal. As the minimum $10 option, which you can pay more, but that's the minimum as far as $10 to register for these podcast episodes. Now, as far as platforms, that is where a lot of people are confused on where to find this. So this whole entire series, as far as a podcast, is available on the Inevitable website. Actually, let me pull it up right now. Inevitable, and it should pop up, right? This is the thing about having things released direct to consumer. Is harder to look up because the powers that be do not want you to ever have success going to direct to consumer like this. So inevitable. Let's see if I can find it. So the website, where is the website? Okay, let me go to Dreamville. This is the thing about going direct to consumer, man. It's so hard to even find this type of stuff. Okay, I typed in the Inevitable website and nothing popped up. Let's see if via inevitable.live. Okay, I'm going to have to actually put in an entire link. That's what I'm saying. Like, what Drake and J. Cole's trying to do as far as going to direct to consumer, I promise you the higher ups do not want this to be successful because they make all the money off of marketing your product, right? All right, I finally found the website. So here we go. This was very hard to type. This was even hard for me to find. I pull up information like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. So as far as the masses and wanting to know where you can directly get access to this podcast, here it is right here for you to see. And this is the podcast link. I'll highlight, see right here. All right. So basically type in the Inevitable, www.inevitable.live, and the website will pop up where you can get access to it with a $10 monthly subscription, or you can continue with email. Oh, there's probably a login. But yeah, you definitely need to register for this. So actually, let me do it right now. I don't want to pull up my information. Let me see. I'm basically showing y'all how to do this because ultimately, a lot of people are having trouble finding this podcast, which makes sense. I mean, okay, so they sent a code to my email. So I'm going through the process. I am right now currently going through the process of figuring out how to sign up for my favorite rappers podcast, right? Okay, here we go. So Inevitable website, we're signing up. All right. I've logged in. Okay, I've signed up by email. Alrighty. Okay, now it shows me get access, right? Let me show you. Okay, so I've signed in through email. Now it's saying get access, right? And that's what I was talking about. The minimum is $10. Obviously, you can pay more, and you can basically what you get access to is the podcast, right? And then you can chat with other community members worldwide and experience the episodes together. So that's basically what you could watch right now as far as the podcast being considered, because I believe all the episodes are out. 10 episodes, like I said on the website. Episode 1 came out November 18th. Episode 2 came out November 20th. Episode 3 came out November 22nd. Episode 4 came out November 25th. Episode 5 came out November 27th. Episode 6 came out November 29th. Episode 7 came out December 2nd. Episode 8 came out December 5th. Episode 9 came out December 9th. And episode 10 came out December 12th. All these was in the year of 2024. Now, of course, these focus on his albums, well, really mixtapes / albums, because they talk about the come up, they talk about Lights Please, the warm up, Who Dat, Friday Night Lights, Sideline Story, Born Center, and Forest Hills Drive, of course. So let me play the video so they can expound upon what I was talking about as far as the podcast.
So in late 2022, Cole, Ebe, and I sat down to record a little conversation. Ebe had found this old laptop in his garage that had all these old demos and unreleased songs and songs that we've come to know and love from Cole. And we started playing them for each other, which conjured up all these amazing memories that they'd shared over the years. The good.
That was a big ass
I ain't gonna
moment.
lie. Even hearing it right there, I was like, oh shit.
The bad.
Cut that off. That shit trash.
And the ugly.
Hey, me and him both be agreeing with that. It do be trash.
I'm gonna rap on my whole fucking career.
It would have been over.
So we just started recording. One day turned into 2, 2 days turned into 3, and we kept going for 8 days, tracking the entire arc of Cole's career from the very early days when he started writing his first songs.
The song that I did that showed me you're capable of doing something else, what do you think it is?
School Day?
It was
I
School
knew it.
Day,
As soon as you said
dog.
that, I was like, it's gotta be School Day.
All the way up until now.
I felt like, damn, this nigga just turned another corner.
Yes, I'm not that level of songwriter without going through everything that I went through, having to be pushed. That shit made me stronger.
And we covered all this ground, everything from, of course, the music.
Probably in your mind, it's like, this is my land.
Yes, yeah. Here's something I can offer,
Yeah.
and here's me displaying an ability to talk about it in a way that's gonna connect to you.
To relationships.
It was literally right when we was about to turn the album in.
Yeah, I remember deciding like it's that time, and then once I knew, I just went and got the ring. Like I just knew.
And I took these precious recordings and organized them into a limited audio series that we're calling Inevitable.
Because I know what I know now, it's almost silly to say some of the shit out loud where it's like, oh man, but it's just the reality.
So pull up a chair, join us as we release season 1 of Inevitable.
All right, so season 1 of Inevitable, which basically means there are future seasons to come in the future, right? This is a limited audio series, which is basically, their version of a podcast. And like I said, it covers a lot of his timeless music. And one of the things about the series that it does for J. Cole as a musician is expound upon what people fell in love with as far as the image of J. Cole. As a human, Cole is probably the greatest hip hop artist ever. As far as the evolution, as far as the grown man advice, grown man bars that you could use in your own life to evolve. I can't even talk. To evolve as a man, right? So Cole, in that sense, is the greatest, maybe of all time. For a long time listeners of the podcast, you're probably flabbergasted right now because that was probably the highest compliment I've ever given Jermaine. So anyways, with this being said, a lot of things in this podcast makes it worth the $10. I'm not gonna lie. He literally played unreleased collaborations with Kendrick Lamar. That alone should let you know that this podcast series is filled with content. I don't know why people aren't talking about it more. I think it has something to do with him being in Hip Hop Timeout and Kendrick completely taking all the spotlight, right? But ultimately, I will say that he did it to himself as far as the backtracking of putting out a diss track towards Kendrick. There's ways to do it, and the way that he did it was the worst one. If he would have never put out a diss track, he would have never been in Hip Hop Timeout because we would have just assumed he didn't want to smoke in the first place. The way he popped out with 7 Minute Drill, the way he backtracked off 7 Minute Drill, and then he co-signed Kendrick right after, less than 48 hours, like he was trying to prevent a murder, right? You ever seen the first 48? Instead of trying to solve a murder, this man was trying to prevent a murder. Whole time, it was himself. So as far as backtracking, apologizing, that is just not seen in a good light as far as hip hop, because it's all about contact when it comes to hip hop. It's a contact sport. You battle rap somebody, we see who wins, and we move on, right? Another thing to even talk about my favorite rapper, well, my actual favorite rapper as far as the GOAT with Drake. What he did as far as the battle, all the way up until he started acting out and literally crashing out as far as suing him, UMG, would have been what the hip hop, well, actually, he still gave us what hip hop fans wanted, which is the greatest hip hop battle of all time. I mean, at this point in time, we could say Kendrick versus Drake. Statistically speaking, quality level speaking, everything as far as the industry speaking and the culture speaking is one of the greatest, if not the greatest hip hop battle of all time. What he did following that, as far as Drake, has been very upsetting to see as a Drake fan, because him crashing out, suing UMG for Not Like Us, that was created by Kendrick, ultimately means that he's suing because he lost. So that move could be seen in the same light as J. Cole backtracking off of 7 Minute Drill, right? Which is why Kendrick right now is just seen as a hip hop savior, because what he's done as far as all of his moves, every single one has been on point. Every single one of his moves has been on point. Whoever Kendrick's PR team, I'm not gonna lie, the opposition is about to pay the utmost bag to get them off of his team and on their team. And who that may be, I'm gonna let y'all figure out who that may be as far as trying to offer them a bag to come over or switch sides. So anyways, J. Cole's album Inevitable is out now on his website, like I just showed. Do I still have his website up? I don't know if I still have his website. Yeah, it's right here. So his website right here. All you have to do is just go to this website, www.inevitable.live, sign up through email, phone number, and then pay $10. So you already know this is a great marketing strategy, because all those numbers and emails will be used in his favor, which I'm not mad at, because of course, if you're signing up with knowing that they're asking for email, phone number, and you give it to them, then they're probably going to use it for future promotions down the line to email you about future releases from J. Cole, because the direct-to-consumer model is frowned upon by UMG, by Warner, by Sony, because it cuts the big dogs out of the picture as far as the major machines. But honestly, as far as a consumer, we should want our great content creators and artists to be able to go direct to consumer, because that's just better for us. Overall, the major machines only care about making $1. If you go to direct to consumer, now you can pay them directly and they can give you content instead of having that buffer of the major label being like, oh, you can't give them this, that's too expensive, we got to lock this behind a movie theater or something like that, right? This type of content would have been used in a movie theater, and guess how much you pay at a movie theater versus $10 for a podcast series, right? So stuff like that, where going to direct to consumer from the artist standpoint, from the consumer and artist standpoint, is phenomenal. But for the person that tries to mediate that artist to consumer connection, as far as the major machine, they are going to do everything in their power to step on this podcast series, which is why you probably haven't heard of it spoken about often, right? Because people just may not know that this is out. So anyways, it features a lot of old music from J. Cole, a lot of just insightful thoughts about his rise to fame, and then overall just the themes of his struggles, his triumphs, his personal evolution. I mean, it's just all there in one podcast format, and all 10 episodes are now out. Like I said, $10 paywall minimum. You can always pay more if you want to. But with that being said, check out J. Cole's Inevitable podcast, because I'm not gonna lie, it really gives you a great glimpse on why the world fell in love with J. Cole in the first place. So with that being said, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about J. Cole's podcast Inevitable? And if you haven't checked it out yet, will you be willing to give it a listen?